Students, today we will be talking about chromosome structure and organization, right? And in the first part of this lecture, we learn about the organization of genome or the types of genome in prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So I'll just first introduce you to the topic. Now, all cells or living cells have the capability to give rise to new cells. This we have already learned in cell division. While we were learning cell division, we have already discussed that all cells arise from excuse me, pre-existing cells, and all living cells. I mean, there may be variation when cell division ceases after a certain level, but all cells generally have the capability to give rise to new cells. And of course, when they give rise to a new cell, they have to pass on all the genetic information. This process of cell division is actually a process to continue the process of life, right? So that a living cell can pass on its genetic information to another cell. Because none of the cells on this earth are immortal. Each and every cell has a definite lifespan. So, these cells, apart from being living and taking care of themselves, taking care of their metabolism, it is another responsibility of all living cells, or function of all living cells, I should say, to give rise to new cells. Now, a new cell can survive on its own. Of course, that new cell form will again be an autonomous, like the parent cell. So, it need to have all that encoded information, genetic information, through which it can synthesize all the proteins for it as and when required. Okay, so the encoded information in a living cell is also passed on from one generation to another through this process of cell division, that is giving rise to new cells. The information encoding material is called the genetic or hereditary material of the cell. That is why it is known as hereditary, because it is passed on from one generation to another. And of course, it is called genetic because the genetic information resides in the form of gene, okay, that forms the DNA that occurs in the form of chromosomes in eukaryotic cells, as you all know. So this is what we are going to learn in this topic. We'll first learn about what is the genetic material, right? And then we'll learn the differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic genome. Although we have already been introduced to the differences once we have talked of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, and then we'll learn that how this genetic information is turned or seen in the form of chromosomes during the different stages of cell cycle. So we'll first talk of the prokaryotic genetic material. The prokaryotic or the bacterial genetic material is usually concentrated in a specific clear region of the cytoplasm called the nuclei. This you have seen once we have learned the prokaryotic cell structure, that there is not a well-defined nucleus. That is why they are called prokaryotic. That is before the karyon, before the development of a true nucleus. And these cells, they contain a region, a cytoplasmic region, which is properly called the nucleoid, where the genetic material resides. The bacterial chromosome is a single, circular, double-stranded DNA molecule mostly attached to the plasma membrane at one point. This also you have seen in that figure, that it is generally attached to the cell membrane at one point. Then it does not contain any histone proteins. This is a characteristic presence of histones. These basic proteins actually the eukaryotic genome being very large in size, you'll see these proteins they help in packaging of the eukaryotic genetic material, but prokaryotes are not characterized by the presence of any histones. Escherichia coli, or commonly called the E. coli, DNA is a circular molecule with 4.6 million base pairs in length, containing 4288 annotated protein coding genes, which are organized into 2584 operons. Several ribosomal RNA, that is rRNA operons, and 86 transfer RNA, that is tRNA genes, these together form the genome of E. coli. Right? Then certain bacteria also possess array of linear chromosomes like eukaryotes, but they are very few and there are certain exceptions. Besides the chromosomal DNA, many bacteria, that is the genomic DNA, mean genetic material that you see in bacteria, they also carry extra chromosomal genetic material, which is commonly called the plasmids. These plasmids they occur in the form of small, circular, and closed DNA molecules. I mean, the fundamental genetic information resides in the chromosomal DNA of bacteria. But these plasmids, once you will learn about all the plasmids, you'll see that they always impart special characteristics to bacteria. They carry special genes, right? You must have very commonly heard of the R plasmids. Okay, these are called the resistance plasmids that are present in different bacteria that provide resistance to different antibiotics in these organisms. They generally remain floated in the cytoplasm and bear different genes based on which they have been studied. Actually, these plasmids have been characterized on the basis of the special genes they carry. And some of the different types of plasmids that are most commonly known, they include the F plasmids or the fertility plasmids that you must have learned once you must have learned about the process of conjugation in bacteria. Then we have the R plasmids, as I have already told you. These are the resistance plasmids. Then the virulent plasmids that help to develop virulence in the host, and they carry genes for virulence, and they help these bacteria to for in the process of infection. And then we have metabolic plasmids. You'll see some bacteria have special plasmids. For example, the cold plasmids, or certain bacteria have plasmids that bear genes that can degrade the hydrocarbons, which are used to create or use them to create recombinant bacterial species that can be used for cleaning up different environmental pollutants and all. This you'll learn in the senior classes once you learn about the genetic material, and you learn about recombinant DNA technology. I mean, you'll have these things ahead. So, these are certain common types of plasmids that are present in bacteria. I hope you must have heard of all these terms earlier also. So here you can see the organization of the prokaryotic genetic material. This green colored boundary represents the cell envelope, that is the plasma membrane. You can see the nucleoid organization and the genetic material attached to one side of the plasma membrane, and of course they have certain DNA binding proteins. This is a transmission electron image of the plasmid DNA. This is the extra chromosomal genetic material we are talking about. That is, other than this chromosomal DNA, certain bacteria have this plasmid DNA also. Then let's talk of the eukaryotic genetic material. Now, a eukaryotic cell has genetic material in the form of genomic DNA enclosed within the nucleus. Now, as you know, U means true and carry-on means the nucleus. So the eukaryotes are characterized by the presence of a well-defined nucleus where the genetic information in the form of DNA and chromosomes resides. They are all packaged in that nucleus. Genes or the hereditary units are located on the chromosomes which exist as chromatin network in the non-dividing cell or interface. Actually, when we talk of this term chromosomes, okay, which you will learn ahead, they have different shapes and then different types. This complete structure, the condensed form of the chromatin in the form of chromosomes, is only seen during the division phase. Normally, when the cell is not dividing and basically it is utilizing all this DNA and genetic information to synthesize all the proteins or replicate the genetic material, this they, it that genetic material is said to be the chromatin. Okay, so normally you can see this in the non-dividing cell or the interphase cell. You've learned the cell cycle, so during the interphase you'll see the chromatin. We have talked of the differences or changes in the chromatin also as the cell proceeds from one phase to another. But ahead in the lecture again we will talk about chromosome separately and chromatin separately. Then let's first talk of the term chromosome. Okay, now I'll tell you what is this chromosome. Now, a German biologist, Walter Fleming, in the early, you can say, 1880s, revealed that during cell division, the nuclear material, that is the genetic information which is present in the nucleus, organizes themselves into visible thread-like structures which are named as chromosomes, which stain deep with basic dyes. And this term chromosome was actually coined by Waldier in the year 1888. Now, the term chromosome comes from, or this means that chrome is color and soma is body, and hence they mean colored bodies and can be defined as higher order organized arrangement of DNA and proteins. Now you see, genetic information resides in the form of DNA. We all know the our genes are arranged in the form of DNA. DNA contains all the genes that encode all the proteins that are characteristic of that particular species. Now, chromosome is actually the association of DNA with certain specific proteins. Now, there are different reasons for this organization. They provide protection, then they provide folding. This eukaryotic chromosome or genome is very large in size and it has to be packaged in that compact structure called nucleus. So, you'll ahead learn about the different levels of DNA packaging or the hierarchy of chromosome organization. So, simply, this chromosome can, again I'll read it for you, can be defined as higher ordered organized arrangement of DNA and proteins. So, it is actually a specific arrangement of DNA with proteins, okay, that resides in the nucleus. It contains many genes or hereditary units, regulatory elements, and other nucleotide sequences. Chromosomes also contain DNA bound proteins which help in packaging the DNA and also control its function. Now, chromosomes vary both in number and structure among organisms, and the number of chromosomes is characteristic of every species. This you all must be knowing that it is specific for each and every species. It is not like that all these species have same number of chromosomes. Bendel and Boveri in the year 1887 reported that the number of chromosomes in each species is constant. Then later on, Sutton and Boveri in the year 1902 suggested that chromosomes are the physical structures which acted as messengers of heredity. Chromosomes are tightly coiled DNA around basic histone proteins. This is what we are talking about, that it is a higher ordered organization of DNA and proteins. So these proteins are actually these histone proteins which help in the tight packaging of DNA during interphase. The DNA is not tightly coiled into chromosome but exists as chromatin.
लिखने लग रहे हैं।
In eukaryotes, to fit the entire length of DNA in the nucleus, it undergoes condensation, and the degree to which DNA is condensed is expressed as its packaging ratio, which is the length of DNA divided by the length into which it is packaged into chromatin along with proteins. This we'll learn once we talk of the hierarchy of chromosome organization or the different levels of packaging of the DNA. Okay, so I mean, you'll see it is not like that DNA packaging is completed in a single step. There are different levels, and then we can talk about the packaging ratio. I mean, at each and every step, it becomes more and more compact with each level of packaging, and then there we can compare that in non-packaged DNA, then at every level, what is the packaging ratio, to what extent it is getting compact. The DNA is packaged stepwise into the higher ordered chromatin structure, and this is known as hierarchies of chromosomal organization. Okay, so in the next talk, we'll learn about the hierarchies of chromosome organization. Thank you.
इसमें लिखा हुआ
नहीं ना, ये काम करो, रिसीव कर लेंगे, क्या दिक्कत है?
है। ये तो न्यू वन, हाँ ये तो ठीक है।
वेरिफिकेशन में दिक्कत नहीं आएगी ना, तो याद रहेगा, लेकिन बाद में याद नहीं रहता ना चीजें।
तो डायरेक्ट इशू कर, पहले 12 से लेना पड़ेगा फिर।
हाँ, वहाँ से ले लेंगे, वहाँ से लेके फिर बैकअप में रख देंगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है।